I'm not the best at this stuff by any means. Oh shit! Ah!
Those V-motor tires worked really good.
Oh oh, that's not good.
Alright guys, so this video is going to be a little bit different. As you saw from the thumbnail and that little intro, some bad things happened on a Thursday night ride. So I was going to make just a normal Thursday night ride video and kind of have this stuff in there, but then talking to my buddy Woody, who was the guy that got hurt from Seat Time, and thinking about it, I decided let's make this a lessons learned kind of thing and figure out what actually happened, how better decisions could have been made, and how we could have avoided having to make a trip to the ER. So that's what this is going to be. Hopefully that sounds interesting. It's also going to be fun like normal. We're going to have all the riding and crashing and the blood and the guts and all the good stuff. And I have a little bit of instructional stuff here at the end because I did find a way to get the cover onto my chainsaw mount. So that's coming at the end. So make sure you stick around if you have a chainsaw mount and you want to learn how to do that. Also, I just really got to say huge thanks to Woody from Seat Time. His name is Brian Pierce. He goes by Woody. It's a long story. Anyway, he is a good friend of mine. You guys got to go check out his channel. It's called Seat Time here on YouTube. I'll put a link in the description. Make sure you go over there and check it out. He's trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and then past that. It's a long story. He's actually got another channel with a bunch of subscribers, and anyway, he's going to explain that soon. So anyway, please check that out. So without further ado, let's get after the video.
We'll get the next one.
Alright, boys, we got our first launch.
Oh yeah. Brr, brr, brr. Brr, brr, brr.
So, Uncopadre Plateau States what?
States draw. Now
States draw, baby.
we are rocking and rolling.
Try to see if we can do a little bit of trail maintenance. A little bit of riding. What do you need me to do?
Move it once I cut it.
Yeah.
Let's stop right here. So you can see we're out for a normal ride, normal Thursday night ride, and you probably noticed now that we've already talked about it that as I'm taking my chainsaw off, there's no cover on the chain. Now that decision was made years ago when trying to install the cover that came with the saw onto that mount. It's a Bill Dart mount, and it didn't really just slide in there real easy. Anyway, it wasn't super simple. And then I talked to a good friend of mine who cuts literally thousands of trees a year, and he doesn't run saw cover. So I thought, well, if he doesn't run a saw cover, I won't run a saw cover. We'll be all good. So like I said, you see us, we're just cutting trees. We're having a great time.
Geez, if you want to go over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going strong.
Looks like someone went around it. Let's see if we can move it, we'll move it.
All right, so here is where a bunch of bad decisions started to happen. As you can see from the video, there's a big log that's fallen down and kind of like down along and across the trail. This little section of trail is pretty hard. It normally had this like little crazy move at the top that was that log. Anyway, and it had fallen down and everybody had made a route around it. Well, I don't like routes around things because that's the whole point of cutting these trails, is to keep people on the trail so we don't mess things up, so the Forest Service doesn't get upset, and anyway, whatever. So now I make the decision, well, you'll see, to cut part of it out of the way, block the go-around, but instead of removing everything and getting everything out of the way, I decide to leave an obstacle. So that was probably bad decision number one, because this is a really hard trail, and we wanted to leave it hard with kind of a rampy log thing at the top of this little climb. So that's probably bad decision number one. And then you'll see us, I'm just going to let this thing run here in a second, you'll see us make decisions where, first of all, we leave that. Then I decide I'm going to try it first with a chainsaw on the front of my motorcycle. You got to realize it's a 7-pound chainsaw, so that really changes the handling. I mean, yes, I can ride, no problem, whatever, but when hopping logs and lifting the front wheel, it makes it weird because it's heavy. I decide to do that. I don't have a cover on it. My buddy Woody decides he wants to film it and he wants to get a good view, so he stands up there, but he stands on the downhill side. So right where, if I mess up, I'm gonna be aiming. So that was a bad decision also. And then everybody else around us who clearly knows I have a chainsaw with no bar protector, no one says anything about the fact that there's a chainsaw. I know that there's a chainsaw, and I never say anything like, hey, maybe you guys should get out of the way in case this goes south, and I'll throw the bike down, get, whatever. And so, now you'll see what happens.
Is that the trail?
Yeah, but it's gotten, this is across it, someone else. Oh!
Well, let's take this part off, like here. You know what I mean? Leave the stump and take that and just roll this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's cut it, because this is that tree that's always a little bit kind of funky, but it fell over. What we want to do is cut to where it turns, so we got to go over it, right? But like cut it right where at the angle, so we can roll this down and out of the way. Watch out, because this is going to go that way and down. Stay out of the way.
Want to kind of leave a hard line there? Are you gonna? Oh, you want to block that line?
Yeah.
Make everybody come over
This
this.
ain't going anywhere.
I'm not the best at this stuff by any means. Today is the day, though. Yeah! You all right? That was...
Hey, those V-motor tires worked really
Oh,
good.
Oh, that's not good.
All right, guys, so you can see the gash on Woody's arm is gnarly. It was gnarly. It's a lot worse than even in that, video. So all those things came together and hurt him, and that's a bummer. But the upside, the thing we're also going to learn is that, fortunately, my wonderful, amazing wife, who, by the way, is a safety manager for the Uncompahgre Gunnison National Forest, has convinced me in years past to carry a first aid kit. So I did. And I was so happy to have it because it really helped us to get this thing bandaged up and get him out of there. And by the way, guys, we are looking for a safety manager for our rides when Woody and I ride together, because we've decided that we're not maybe the best decision makers when you put us both together. We are looking for applications for a safety manager for our rides, so please comment below if you are interested in being our safety manager on our rides. We're hopefully going to be doing lots of rides together as we move forward in the future, because we're friends and we have a lot of fun, but we definitely need some sort of safety officer for that. So make sure you comment below. So yeah, let me just show you, we wrapped this thing up. We got it buttoned up pretty good.
All right, I got a first aid.
You got something just to
Yeah, let's
duct tape?
So that's what happens when it doesn't go quite right.
Anybody have any Advil?
I do, I think, in here. And then I got some tape.
I've got some electrical tape.
I got some like medical
Damn, I
stuff.
don't have any first aid stuff.
Yeah,
thought
I
I
started
had
carrying this.
something.
My wife started yelling at me about not carrying first aid, and I was like, oh, you're right.
I should.
So
You're like, wait, Woody's coming? Yeah, let's bring the first aid.
I'm not even pulling.
He's not
your leg.
peeing my leg. He's not pulling my leg or
Or
peeing on my wound.
all right,
Morgan's got the big bar, so
there we go.
Hey guys, stupidity hurts.
Carry your
I wasn't
first
even-
aid kit.
I wasn't even the rider, Morgan. What in the hell?
Oh, dude.
Well, the slog will be good when I go to the hospital. I'm gonna film the whole thing. I'm gonna be like, please put me out, because that's gonna be a lot of stitches.
It's a lot of stitches.
All right, guys. So this next part of the video is us going to the hospital and talking with the nurses and the doctor. So there's going to be some graphic stuff, guys, of them cleaning it. I actually didn't get the stitching part, but I did get the clean. Anyway, it's pretty gnarly. So if you don't like that stuff, maybe skip towards the end where I show the way I fixed the chainsaw cover part, and we talk about the last parts of it. So, but if you want to see some gnarliness, stick with us. This is pretty gross.
All right, guys, we're at the Montrose ER with Brian. We've been discussing this, and we've realized it was actually the chainsaw on the front of my bike that did the damage to his arm.
That's right, guys. I forgot to tell you. As you saw in the clip with me crashing, Brian Woody lifts his arm up and says, "Those V-Moto tires work really good." So from that moment all the way till we got back to the van and we were talking to other people and explaining things, we honestly didn't even think that it was the chainsaw chain that had cut his arm. We thought it was the tire that had, hit it blunt force and been sticky and just torn him open. We honestly just didn't know until we got back and we were talking about the chainsaw, and it was like, bing, the little very dim lights that he and I have went off, and we're like, oh, it was the chainsaw chain that cut your arm. So honestly, for over an hour, we didn't even realize.
So, real bright.
Oh,
Here we are. How's it going? And there he is.
fancy seeing you
Fancy
again.
seeing you.
God, we were just on the trail
We
together.
just. We'll have to.
We'll have to tell the camera. Oh, hello, you're still going.
So they saw it.
Yeah.
I was so kind of like in pain while they were trying to take it off. I forgot to film, but they said, "Don't worry, we're gonna look at it
Yes,
a
we're
lot
taking-
more times."
Unfortunately, I'm trying to think now. There's this section that
Like
Yeah.
just to protect yourself, and you got the chainsaw?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Listen, we didn't say it was not a stupid idea.
Yeah. We
Said it was
we
an idea.
never said we had a good idea.
No one.
Got it. But once it's numb, it'll feel much better.
Oh wow, that's deep.
Oh, I saw.
He's
Really getting in. See this in 4K.
Can't feel it, buddy. He got numbed up.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so as we have learned from our study of the video and the giant gash on Woody's arm, there are lots of things that could have been done differently to avoid that. Let's go back over them. One, I could have had a blade or a chain bar cover, whatever, on the bike. Definitely would have saved that. Also could have not tried a hard enduro move on a side hill with a chainsaw on the front of my bike. Also could have said to the guys, hey, I'm not super good at this. I did say that, actually, that I'm not super good at this, but like I said, why don't everybody just get out of the way so I don't do it. They could have said, wow, he's got a chainsaw in front of the bike, I'm going to get out of the way. So there's lots of things that would have kept that from happening, but obviously there's been lots of yelling at me online already about not having a bar cover. Yeah, fair enough, right? I've never thought about trying to jump crazy logs with the chainsaw. Also, I've never had an issue with cutting hundreds and hundreds of trees. And a good friend of mine who cuts thousands of trees a year, he doesn't run a bar cover, but that doesn't mean that it's the right way to be. So I don't want to risk that again, and I want to learn from things that have happened. Unfortunately, my friend's arm is sliced open. He's gonna have a good scar, and I think we're gonna get a sweet tattoo that says Morgan was here on that scar. But so I think to remedy the situation, I'm gonna try to figure out how to fit the bar cover onto this thing. So let me see what I can do, and I'll bring you guys back in and see if I can figure this thing out. All right, guys, I think I got her figured out. So this is the scabbard that came with it. What I did was, it kind of was a pain in the butt, but I cut it, and I fold these over, drilled holes through that, drilled holes through the mount, and then tapped them, ran those things in there. I think it is gonna work. There we go. So yeah, that's gonna work just fine. There we go. One step closer to safety. It's funny, a good friend of ours was just in here. His name's Don Rhodes, and he's awesome. He's an old guy, been riding forever. And I was telling him the story and telling him how a bunch of internet people were yelling at me for not being safe enough and all this stuff. And he's like, it's a freaking fluke thing. You can go up there and do it 14 times now, and it would never happen again. And he's like, and now that you do this, something else is going to happen. You're going to run into something. So it's kind of how I feel. But I also totally get it. Might as well be as safe as we can, right? And even if it's not perfect, like I said, we might as well take the steps that maybe save someone a big gash on their arm. So anyway, there you guys go. Hope we all learned something from that video. I also hope that you see that it's really, really fun and really cool to clear trails, guys. Quick note. I really think everybody should have one of these rigs, especially if you live in the mountains and trees blow over during the winter. It's a great deal. Bill Dart makes this saw mount. I've made another video for how to do this. I'll try to remember to put a card up here. I'll definitely put a link in the description for how to find that video. It's pretty sweet. All I do is I've got the saw on here. I carry extra chains in my pocket. Carry the scrunch, which is the screwdriver wrench for adjusting this guy, the chain tension and everything, and I carry extra bar oil, and then I fuel off of the bike because I run pre-mixed gas, so that pops off, fuel, the saw, all good to go. Anyway, hope that's informative. Hope you liked it. We'll see you guys on the next one.